We'll get started here in just a minute. As soon as we get some people to join, I'm going to take the camera or take the graphics and make them bigger so you can see them. All right. Well, we do got people joining in now, so let's go ahead and get started here. And this will be saved on my page. You can go back and watch it here if you'd like. So let me make this a little bit bigger here. I'm going to have to take my chat overlay, and take it off of there. Let's without further ado, let's take a look at what's going on. So we do got some storms, a couple of areas of storms, and they're trying to develop now down into North Texas. So they were definitely more intense up in Oklahoma, and they were near Lawton here a short while ago. But those storms have really begun to show a good downtrend in intensity. Earlier, they were producing a lot of lightning strikes, a lot of heavy rain. We've still got a little bit of a flash flood warning up there towards Lawton. But as those storms have dropped to the south, they've kind of lost a little bit of their push. I believe a lot of that's because there were storms earlier this afternoon. There's a couple of things. There was actually some storms that were kind of down in here earlier this afternoon, and that kind of gobbled up some of the energy here. And there's also this big blob of storms down to our southwest that too is gobbling up a lot of the instability. So these storms don't have quite as much juice to work with as they did a little bit earlier, but still, as they drop to the south, they're going to develop down into Wichita County. Looks like we got some storms in and around Burke-Burnett now, some downpours there, a little thunder, a little lightning there as well. We've also got this extending west to east right there along the Red River. All of Wichita County now along the Red River, from the Boy Scout camp, the golf course up there near Burke, all the way over to Thornberry, Charlie, some thunderstorms building into those areas. Just along and north of the Clay County line, some storms about to build into Waurika and Jefferson County. And in time, these storms probably also develop down into Monte County as well. Now back into Wilbarger County, there's some storms that are north of Electra and kind of into I would say probably somewhere near the Harold area, near Oakland Union. And these are, again, some downpours, and they're not moving very fast, so they could produce a little flooding if you do get underneath one of these here this evening. Some very small hailstones up to the size of peas are possible, but certainly not looking at anything in the way of damaging hail. These storms are not even producing much in the way of wind now. Now, you do notice that the storms have got a pretty good little outflow boundary. This time of year, you see a lot of this here, pretty common. But this is our outflow boundary. You may wonder what in the world's an outflow boundary? Well, it's just basically just some rain-cooled air that's produced by these storms up here to the north. And that rain-cooled air is dense. It's heavier than the surrounding warmer air. So it gets a bit of a push from these thunderstorms, and it just keeps on going because, again, the density is a little bit different here. So this actually can help lift up the atmosphere some. And this can help generate some storms. We're really not seeing that much, at least at this time, down to the south, but it does look like that most of these storms here are behind this outflow boundary, which is good. That's going to probably limit their severe potential here, which we never have really been expecting much in the way of severe weather there, to be honest about it here. So just maybe some gusty winds, some downpours, and some lightning strikes. I'm really not concerned about it at all, honestly. But, this time of year, if you are close enough to hear the thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning. That's my biggest emphasis I place on these storms. It's just get inside until they go away. And if you're out on a golf course, you probably need to head back to the clubhouse or back to your vehicle or whatnot until they kind of move on through. If you get caught at the lake, you certainly want to get off the lake. And I'd advise folks that maybe fishing this evening down on Lake Arrowhead or Lake Kickapoo or Lake Kemp, probably be wrapping it up here pretty soon, because even if these storms don't build in for a little bit, you got the outflow boundary that's going to produce some gusty winds. And that outflow boundary, moving through Wichita Falls now, you got a bit of a north winds behind it, and the temperature is going to come down a bit. And then you'll see some of these scattered thunderstorms come in behind it as well. I don't know that everybody's going to see rain, but again, if you do get underneath some of these, some pretty good downpours are possible. Now, up in Lawton, you had heavy storms earlier. Those are now over with. But there are some pretty good storms now south of Duncan into the Comanche area, right over Lake Waurika, moving into Waurika, northern parts of Jefferson County, heavy downpours. And some lightning strikes there. And these will develop across more of Jefferson County. Most of Cotton County seeing thunderstorms, but it looks like the heaviest activity moving out of Comanche County now. But still some downpours near and south of Walters, all the way down to the river, Randelette, Duval, those areas seeing some storminess here. And it's about coming into the Cashian community and up towards the northern side of Wichita Falls, Iowa Park, see some storm activity here pretty soon. Probably it's developing south, and again, it could wind up being more hit and miss down into Wichita County. And if that happens, you may or may not get rain. We'll have to just kind of see how it all unfolds. I know my yard could use a little bit of a drink, but I'm okay with not a lot of rain. I'm still doing pretty good here. My grass is growing like crazy still, but I do like the fact that we're about to enter into July and everything is still really green and lush out there. We can take a look at some of the wind velocities here, and I do not see anything in the way of real strong wind gusts. There's your outflow boundary. You can see the line there. You're going to have a little bit of a wind gust coming in behind it. But again, with these storms up to the north, there are probably some gusty winds with it, but it doesn't look incredibly intense. In fact, we can probably go to our Burkburnett tower cam now. Let me go to the Burkburnett tower cam here. And we can take a look at what's going on there in Burkburnett. So give me just a second here to pull that up. There she is. And I'm going to keep this small screen. I'm not going to go big screen with this here. But you're looking north along Interstate 44. Some rain starting to fall there. Where the little camera is there, looking north, you can see over Burkburnett, there's some downpours now. Could be pretty heavy, but again, nothing severe here. But this is going to develop south right along the interstate and probably down into northern parts of Texas here. And again, you could see some decent lightning strikes with some of this stuff here. So. All right, so let's see if we got much going on here. So windy and burnt, light rain, minimal thunder. Actually, those storms don't look just that incredibly strong, to be honest about it. There in the Burkburnett area, I mean, they're there for sure, but and I still think you could get some decent downpours up that way, but they don't look incredibly strong up. None of these storms are incredibly strong. They were much stronger earlier up into Comanche County. But if you look over Burkburnett now, that red color does indicate some decent rain over you. So some pretty good little showers, heavier to the west and, actually north and west of you, north, northeast, and northwest of you there along the Red River. But that's developing south down into more of Wichita and Wilbarger County now. I do expect some of this activity to develop down into Wichita Falls here. So if you are wanting to get some rain, you've got a decent chance of getting some here this evening here. So. The outflow boundary just pushed through Wichita Falls it's coming up on the Lake Wichita and Lakeside City now and Holiday, and a little bit of a north wind there though. Yeah, it's a nice cool down coming in behind that. No, that's not rotation, Teresa. What it is, it's a roll cloud. What you see is it's a that outflow boundary as it pushes through the cloud rolls. And it looks like rotation, but it's really not. It's more of a roll cloud is what we call it. So the difference when you have rotation, you're going to have warm air or you're going to have a supercell that's going to be spinning. You're going to have warm air going one way, cooler air going the other way. But in this instance here, everything's going in one direction here, and the cloud is rolling here. So over Electra at this time here, there's some storms developing over Electra now. The outflow boundaries push through, and there's a little bit of a thunderstorm area trying to develop there now. The heaviest, though, staying away from Electra. It's north of you and kind of along the river up towards Pumpkin Center. And looks like some decent storms developing just south of Vernon, excuse me. That could get developed down towards maybe Grayback and Lockett, maybe. So again, southern Cotton County and now southern northern Jefferson counties, spots up in Oklahoma that are getting the storms now. And again, as this outflow boundary pushes on through, you are going to see the winds pick up some, and the clouds may what we call roll a little bit. So you may see that, but it's not anything that's going to be anything to be concerned with. So that's for sure. So it doesn't look very bad in Wichita Falls. So. I'm glad you're getting some downpours there in Addington. And, this time of year, any rain we get is certainly a plus because we're usually out of the wet weather pattern by now. Well, it's a good question, Archer County. I think you're going to see some more rain, but there were storms in your area earlier, and that really pulled a lot of the instability of the energy out of the atmosphere. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I do think there'll be some storms down that way. I wouldn't be surprised if they weaken quite a bit as they move south, as just that there just isn't much energy down there, or as much energy. And I'm not complaining. I'm all right with a little rain, but I don't want anything severe for sure. This isn't going to be a downburst, I don't believe. If there is hail, it'll be pea size at the most. Once these storms push on through the next, well, we're going to be moving through here in the next 45 minutes or so. That'll be it for the night, Edward. Yeah, there's some rain north of Iowa Park. I think in time it will develop down that way. Yeah, I think we're in really good shape as far as rain chances for the way everything looks. Of course, we don't take any chances, and you can't shoot fireworks inside the city limits. But I do believe that we were actually in pretty good shape this year as far as fireworks go. Yeah, you're getting high winds because that outflow boundary again is pushed on through, and you got the north winds behind it there. So probably 30, 35 is what I'm estimating. And storms are now developing into the Electra. We got storms now developing into Iowa Park, Thornberry, Charlie, and these are now developing down into the northern side of Wichita Falls. In fact, we can show you a look at it from Wichita Falls here. And there it is looking north, and you can see the darkening clouds, and the little camera is jostling around a little bit. The winds don't look super strong here, but there is the darker clouds, and you can see the rain shaft, the rain falling out of those clouds up that way. So, yeah, there is a little bit of some thunderstorm activity trying to develop. I do think the storms are going to develop into Wichita Falls. I do think that will happen. And may get some heavy rain for at least a short while there. I do not expect severe weather with this, though. If anything, at most pea-size hail, and maybe a little bit of a bit of a wind gust there. But these do not look near as intense as they did. They're all well behind the outflow boundary, and you don't have a lot of what we call collisions and stuff taking place here. So I don't think these storms are going to be too rough. They will produce some decent downpours, and you actually see some good downpours developing south of Vernon now. And since these storms are not moving, they could produce a little flooding. Getting in on the action now in Waurika, northern parts of Clay County, Charlie, Petrolia, and coming into Dean. Some gusty winds, out ahead of that coming into the northern side of Lake Arrowhead, or about to cross over to Lake Arrowhead, the northern side of Lake Arrowhead, moving through Jolly, south of Dean now, headed towards Henrietta, little outflow boundary there, nothing major. Wind's going to pick up a little bit out of the north, but nothing too major there. So, I know it's going to feel good. That's that rain cold air coming on in. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a little flooding there in Burke-Burnett with that rain. It's just really, those storms are really just blowing up over the city. And again, they're not moving any at all. They're just blowing up and just dropping all that heavy rain right over downtown Burke-Burnett. And anywhere to the south that gets in on this action is going to see similar conditions. Going to rain pretty hard for a little while. But then once it's done, it's over. Yeah, there's the thunderstorms developing all around Electra right now. You should get some. Kroll, everything's to your northeast there. There's an outflow boundary headed towards you. You could get some action a little bit later on, maybe next hour or so. But again, I don't know how intense it'll be. And Katie, yeah, we got some storms coming into Wichita Falls. They're coming into the northern side of the city now, and we should see development down our way take place over the next, I'd say next 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes or so. But the biggest thing, again, is if your kids are wanting to play outside, or, you're wanting to do some outdoor work or whatnot, just get inside until the storms, kind of roll on through. There's just no reason to be out the lightning. You don't want to take any chances. I'm a lot more afraid of lightning than I am any other weather hazard, because I can keep myself out of a flood. I can keep myself and protect myself from a tornado for the most part. But if I'm outside and that lightning strikes, I don't know where it's going to strike, and that's why I don't like it. So, yeah, you guys are getting some good pouring down rains there in the Burke area. So that's the outflow boundary pushing through Wichita Falls. It's, again, nothing but maybe 30-mile-per-hour winds, maybe 30, 35, something like that. Well, there's no bad news to give to you, Devin. Just maybe some downpours over the next hour or so. Yeah, I think Bowie gets in on the action eventually here. It's going to take a little bit longer for it to get down to you, but maybe in the next, I'd say probably after about 8:30, probably some storms after that time frame moving on in. But again, a lot of this activity could wind up being kind of scattered or hit and miss. And you can see storms now developing right along the Wichita River, there on the west side of Wichita Falls and up towards the northern side of the Shepherd Air Force Base. And again, just some downpours, nothing severe. Maybe some pea-sized hail at most with some of this activity. Yeah, that's a pretty decent little downburst on Friday, actually. So, no, there's no rotation. We don't have any. We don't have wind shear this time of the year. The jet stream's not in. You're welcome, Devin. We don't have a jet stream this time of the year to help produce the wind shear, so we don't get rotating storms this time of year. These are summertime storms. They can produce some gusty winds, lightning, and flooding is what you're mostly concerned with those. So, you know what, Zane, you're kind of in an area where the storms are just south of you here, and they may drift a little bit. Maybe they drift back north or the south. The southern part of Vernon is getting some storms now. The question is, do these storms drift back to the north and get the more of the area there? But it's basically the area in Wilbarger County, Vernon here is going to be the area right along near Oakland Union, all the way through the southern side of the Vernon, town of Vernon there, just south of 287. And then you got these storms building into Lockett here pretty soon. So the northern side of Vernon may not see as much as the southern side. Looks like there's a little bit of a hail increase there around Pumpkin Center, but again, that is pea-size hail. And you can see those storms really developing there north and east of Electra. Storms just north of Iowa Park. And again, over Wichita Falls now, you got some hit and miss stuff developing. Now, I do expect as this outflow boundary drops to the south here, I do expect this to kick off some more storms down into Archer and more of central and southern Clay and over into Monte County and southeastern Jefferson County, and maybe over here in Baylor County. But remember, this area here is void of instability. That's been chewed up. So I don't know how intense the storms will get there, if there is any at all. You may wind up seeing most of the activity over here with a little bit of a lull maybe over here, perhaps. But heavy storms, heavy rain over Burke, again, a little flooding there is possible. Right along Interstate 44, right along the interstate there, eastern side, northeastern side of Iowa Park, and northwest of Iowa Park too, over into Clay County, Charlie, Dean, heavy rain with some thunder and lightning there. Looks like we got some storms developing basically right over the Shepherd Air Force Base now. And these are going to develop down into Wichita Falls. They're kind of hit and miss right now, but they should cluster up, and we should see a better area of storms here over the city pretty soon. Looks like right now, just trying to come into the northern side, kind of up towards City View, those areas. Eventually, Lakeside City could get in on the action, likewise in Holiday and Mankins, maybe Scotland and Windthorst and Archer City maybe. But again, we'll have to just kind of see how everything plays out down here. I'd say the heaviest storm on radar right now is the one up north of Electra. And we can look at the winds. And again, I'm just not seeing much wind with this at all, really. There may be a bit of some type of a signature there south of Charlie, maybe a bit of a downburst there trying to show up. If it is, it's pretty weak. It's not that strong, but there could be a little bit of a downburst there, maybe. Maybe. No rain here at the station yet, but it could be on the way, so we'll just see. Yeah, well, Leslie, I appreciate that. I'm here to keep an eye on things, but again, this is not anything to be concerned with, really, outside of the lightning and little flood threat. I mean, there could be a downburst or two here or there, but it doesn't look like anything widespread or too incredibly intense. It does seem like before the 4th of July, around the 4th of July, sometimes they will see some storms, though. Nakona, you are dry right now, but the storms are, they're kind of north of you up into Jefferson County, but they're gonna build your way. It's gonna take a little time. It'll be probably after 7:30, 8 o'clock before they get to you. You can see the heavy rain really filling in. It continues to rain heavily in Burke, right along the interstate now, down into the northern side of Wichita Falls, City View, Cashian community, over the Shepherd Air Force Base, and out towards, again, City View, Pleasant Valley, into Iowa Park, getting some storms now. And once they get to you, I expect it to rain pretty hard for a little while there. It's just, and you can see some storms out towards Cadane Corner now. So the outflow boundary is finally kicking off storms down to the south into North Texas here. Well, Teresa, that's what I'm trying to do. I try to help eliminate this storm anxiety. There's just no reason for any of that. Frontline winds, you mean with the outflow boundary, just some maybe 30, 35 is what I'm looking at. There's been a lot of, it's the summertime. The summertime storms produce a lot of lightning. That's what they do. That's one of their main things they do. So I'm hearing no rain in Electra yet, which, and that's the nature of these storms this time of the year. It's what we mean by hit and miss. I mean, I've got the radar zoomed in over Electra, and Electra is literally almost like in a little bit of a half hole there. You got heavy rain up towards Pumpkin Center. You got some heavy rain on the east side of Electra. You got heavy rain just west-northwest along 287 between Electra and Harold. And there's nothing over Electra, and there's no way to be able to say for sure if Electra will even get any rain out of this. Because, like I say, it's not like organized thunderstorms moving. They're summertime. They just kind of pop up, and they do the thing, and they dump a lot of rain, and then they kind of move on and kind of weaken, only to redevelop in other areas. So, I mean, Electra could miss out, but Cadane Corner might see some storms. Vernon, I mean, look at how close the storms are. It's raining heavily on the south side of Vernon, but you get to 287 and north and just barely south of Vernon, there's not much going on there at all. So if we look at the number of strikes here, 102, 135, you can see that going up over the last 10 minutes here. So they are putting out quite a bit of lightning. If I expand this, I wonder if the counter, if you expand it, you can see how the number goes up. And I don't know what maximum amperage means, so. So, Electra, you could wind up missing out on some of these storms here. And we'll have to see if these storms solidly build down into Wichita Falls or if they just kind of hang out over the northern side and then skip the city. Let's see if the dome is in effect. We always say the dome is in effect. So, but in this situation, I mean, it's just everything's so hit or miss. You just never know. So now you got storms now east of Iowa Park, north of Iowa Park, and west of Iowa Park. You got some storm mergers up here northeast of Electra. Actually, a little thunderstorm now southwest of Electra and south. So they are building there. So Electra, you're kind of in a bit of a hole. We'll see if that can fill in. So you got a little thunderstorm activity developing just barely west-southwest of Buffalo Creek Reservoir there and just south of Iowa Park and northeast. So now you got storms over the northeast side and developing over Iowa Park here. Again, heavy downpours, lightning strikes, what you can expect. A little storm developing down here in Archer County now, north and west of Lake Arrowhead. Just west-northwest there of Scotland, right along and just west of 287. There's your outflow boundary drop into the south. And we could wind up seeing, we'll see what happens, but we could wind up seeing this area here maybe trying to develop them, maybe try to, fill in here with some storms here pretty soon. Nothing is severe, though. Nothing to be too concerned with anyway. No, no tornadoes at all. Zero chance. No, there will be no more later here. I mean, the storms that are building in now, Chief, are is what we'll get. There will be no more later tonight. This will be it. Whatever builds in now. So yeah, I've seen the storms developing around Iowa Park for sure. No Colson, no naders here tonight. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. They're not moving fast at all. They're just drifting. So people want to know how fast they're moving. They're just drifting. And again, I don't know how solid the activity will be. A lot of it could wind up being hit or miss. That means some places get hit and some places don't. But you do got storms filling in now down to the south of Wichita Falls and over the northern side of the city here, but nothing here at the station at this time. That's not to say it won't happen. I'm just saying it's just not doing it right now. I'm still here, by the way. I'm just sitting here just looking at some stuff. All right. So again, a little bit of a thunderstorm there because this to the south of Lakeside City. Maybe my yard will get a little wet here this evening. I'm all right with a little bit of a gulp there. My garden vegetables could certainly use it. That's for sure. I'm having to water now every day. I could probably water twice a day too. But man, I'm getting a lot of squash and cucumbers now. A lot of them. My tomatoes still have not turned yet. There's a bunch of green ones on there, but they still have not. They still have not turned, ripened yet. So I got a whole bunch of watermelons, and man, my serrano peppers are going crazy. So the little garden I did, this little organic garden looks like it's going to produce at least some if I can, fight off the temperatures. But the cooler temperatures this summer is also helping out some. Next year, I'll really expand things. I wish I'd have planted some fruit trees. That's what I wish I'd have done. I haven't heard anything. I'm not saying it's not thundering here in Wichita Falls, but I haven't heard any thunder at all here. So, and there's the latest radar update that just came in. Latest radar update, it really hadn't changed much. It looks like you got some cells there developing near Iowa Park here, and then you got a little bit more of an increase in storm activity now down to the northern side of Wichita Falls here. And then you got this one storm in Archer County that's just a hair south of Lakeside City that's developing. So again, you might be about to see these storms perhaps maybe fill in a bit over into this area here pretty soon. So we'll see if everybody gets wet. Could. I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys being on here with me. So I mean, there's thunderstorms around, so I can understand hearing thunder. Remember, if you are close enough to hear thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning. Stay indoors. I did not plant any okra, Lane. I didn't. This was a trial organic garden this year. I tried to. I just I'm just doing some little things and seeing how it goes. Trying some different types of organic materials and whatnot, and it has done well. So thank you, Dorian. I appreciate it. Yeah, Electra, it's weird because you've got storms all around you, but you just don't have anything over Electra right now. It's north, and that stuff north of you is raining itself out now, but you got some little activity around, and some of this stuff could drift over you. Still a chance you could get some. Again, none of this stuff is severe, and I don't even think it's that strong, honestly. But heavy downpours can still produce, some of this, runoff, and you could see some quick little flash flooding in some of these areas that normally see it. I know when I lived over on Trinidad Drive there, there's that part of the area. If it rained, just rained hard for about 15, 20 minutes, it was going to, those streets were going to fill up with water. Oh, I just heard thunder here at the station. And I also hear raindrops outside. So it is raining here at the station now. And the station would be where this little blob of green blue is, you see there. I bet it increases. I bet it gets heavier here in just a minute. Oh, it's raining heavy. It's poor. It's raining good here at the station now. It's raining. I can hear it coming down outside. So it's coming down pretty good here. And like I say, once it gets going, it's probably going to rain. It's not going to just rain and then quit. It's going to rain for a little bit, and then once it's gone, it'll be over with. So Presley, what kind of snake did you get into? Let me look back in here and see. That would actually be fun to tube down Avenue E. It'd be fun to do that. Okay, so you want to know about my snake I encountered. So I encountered, about a little over a week ago, I encountered a little water snake. Well, it wasn't little, it's a big water snake. And I don't like snakes. I mean, I don't hate snakes. I think they got a purpose in the ecosystem. Now, I'm not gonna let any venomous snakes be around my house, but this was a pretty good sized water snake. I think they call them yellow belly or banded water snake or something like that. But anyway, he was it was in my yard, in my backyard, and my dogs were going crazy. And I was like, for the best thing for me to do is to remove this snake, because I don't want to I don't want this snake getting chewed up by my dogs, and I don't want the dogs to take a chance on getting bit or anything, even though I know he wasn't venomous. But anyway, so I had to go remove him. So the only way I was going to do it, I didn't have anything to pick him up with, so I had to pick him up with my hand. And I did, and like I say, I do not like snakes. And it was, and while I know it was a non-venomous, I know it was pretty ridiculous and whatnot, but at the same time, I felt like I had to remove him, and I did not want to touch that snake. And I did. I grabbed him, I overcame my fears, and I removed the snake. But again, I did not like that. I was not excited about it. So you have me on you. What do you have me on? I have you on my tablet. I have you on my tablet, on YouTube, Facebook, and my phone. Awesome. Jaden Knowles, everybody. Right here. Here's our good buddy, Jaden Knowles, right there. There he is, right there. I finally got on your live. I want to have you on here live with me one of these nights. I can't obviously do it right now. We got these little hit and miss storms around, but I definitely want to check in with you though, and bring you on the 9:30 one here at one point in time, and just check in with you and see how things are going and give everybody an update. Everybody, I know a lot of folks miss you. That's for sure. I get it all the time, man. Miss Jaden. Glad he's doing well. He's doing good in Denver, but we miss him. So yeah, I'm gonna try to have you on at some point in time if we can just kind of link up. Yeah, we can do that. He's coming down in a few weeks here. Definitely come on in the studio and we'll do it. We will do it for sure. Well, we miss you too, buddy, for sure. No doubt about it. But you're knocking them out up there in Denver, though. Well, I'll tell you what, man, you're doing good. You're teaching those guys up there a thing or two, man. Power is out in Ringling. Well, if you take a look in the Ringling, you guys actually got the heavier stuff up there in Ringling. You did. But it's not as heavy down here in North Texas, and it's kind of hit or miss. Looks like Lakeside City is about to get. Looks like over the town of Wichita, over the city itself. Looks like at least the western half of Wichita Falls down towards Lake Wichita and Lakeside City are going to see some thunderstorms here. I should tell my wife it's about to rain. Yeah, man, I'm still your mentor. I still am. I'm still here for you, brother. So you got folks on here saying hello to you right now. That's the thing about Wichita Falls, man. People here great. And just because you move on, don't mean we forget. We still watch out for our own. That's for sure. Keep up with you. We're going to follow that career all the way to the national networks. Yeah, I bet. I think hasn't it been hot there up there in Denver? Hasn't it been like real hot there lately? Thanks for the update, everybody there, for letting me know if it's raining at your way. So it looks like most of the city now is getting heavy downpours. And I would expect this to develop into the Lakeside City maybe Holiday. But again, it's kind of hit or miss. Activities north of Henrietta, Dean and Jolly, but that's going to develop down towards Henrietta pretty soon. Just downpours, nothing severe. Some lightning strikes. It's not going to get bad in Wichita Falls. No worse than what it is right now. Oh, I would love see Jaden. I love hot weather when the humidity's real low, especially when there's a breeze outside. Hot weather don't bother me. It's the humidity. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, it has been incredibly humid here this summer. I mean, every day our dew points from the 70s. There's been a day or two where it'll mix out some late in the afternoon, early in the evening. It'll be pretty nice, but mostly just super humid. So I would trade with you. I like the dry heat. I don't like this wet heat. So you're getting some good winds at Lake Air. That's the outflow boundary that's pushing through. Everybody's reporting some pretty heavy wind with that. I was kind of estimating 30, 35 mile per hour winds, but maybe it's a little bit stronger, Nothing severe. I mean, I'm looking at the radar. I don't see anything that's incredibly strong. But you do see some thunderstorm wind gusts behind the outflow boundary, and these thunderstorms here don't like anything super strong. There may be a bit of a microburst or a little bit of a downburst right there between Wichita Falls and Dean, maybe. Looks like the eastern side of the city is going to fill in with some storms here pretty soon. But again, kind of hit and miss. I mean, some places get hit, some places miss. A little bit of downpour over coming into Lake Iowa Park now. Now, remember, we were talking about Electra missing out, and it's like, some storms around you, but you're still not getting much rain there. Now, Vernon, the heavy rain has been on the south side of town, but now you got a little bit of a drift, and it's pushing up closer to Vernon itself with some heavy rain and maybe a little bit of thunder, lightning there. Down into Ford County, you got some storms developing along that. These could be some pretty intense storms towards Ford City because you got some outflow boundaries kind of colliding in that area. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a really good development of thunderstorms there across Ford County, maybe even Knox County. For Eagan City View. Yep, I'm seeing that. We had a pretty good downpour here at the station, but it's kind of moved on now. But I think we could see some more. Good bit of thunder here at the station too. But if you go right down here, right along Kemp, you follow it all the way down into Archer County there to 79, and it's some pretty good rain falling. In those areas along Taft Boulevard and coming into the east side of Lakeside City, over the eastern shore, eastern part of Lake Wichita. And this activity down into northern Archer County could drift northward here. It kind of makes me happy because I don't think I'm gonna have to water my garden tonight. I think I'm gonna be able to let it go. I'm starting to accumulate quite a few cucumbers. I think I'm gonna have to make some pickles. Well, that's what the main thing I aim to do, Melissa, is to keep the anxiety down. So, yeah, Jaden, I didn't do much, man. You did most of that on your own. Yeah, it's the outflow boundary, Leslie, that's moving through. 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts with that. Your temperatures are going to cool off significantly as well. But none of this activity is severe at all. None of it is. Yeah, in fact, it looks fairly weak, but some heavy rain. And of course, I'm getting Facebook pictures now. Little cloud to ground lightning drone shot sent by Thomas Billick. Oh yeah, it's definitely turned a lot cooler outside. Definitely. That rain cooled air. It'll make it feel good. It's been pretty hot today. So humid, man. Ugh, I hate this humidity. But whenever it's humid like this, you're getting rain. And whenever it's not humid, it means you're in a drought or something like that. So, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad with the good. So, look at that heavy rain spreading over the northern part of Archer County and into Wichita Falls, especially out towards the Greenbrier Walmart and kind of into the Kickapoo Airport area and kind of developing over the east side of Lake Wichita and developing into Lakeside City here shortly. Some very heavy rain, which means my yard is going to get muddy again. And that means there's going to be some mud drug in by the doggies. Iowa Park, some heavy rain between you and Electra. Electra looks like there's some showers over here and some storms to the south, so maybe they'll develop in, but we'll see. Pretty good coverage of storms here this evening, though. At least none of these were severe. Well, I figured I'd go on a little Facebook Live, do a little update, and then I kind of get to chatting with you folks, and I just kind of lose track of time here. So, we got some blow up in Nakona here. Let's go look over there. Let's go look over there in Nakona. Well, there's nothing in Nakona right now. but it is north of you, and it will rain there. It's gonna come down your way here, probably after 8 o'clock. But that outflow boundary, I can actually enhance the winds here. That outflow boundary is moving through Nocona now. That's why the winds are picking up. You can see the line itself. That's a pretty strong, pretty solid outflow boundary too. That indicates some really dense air. The radar picks up on that density. It's much cooler than the surrounding air, so it picks up on that density. That's sinking air right there along that outflow boundary. And as air sinks, it undercuts and causes the air around it to lift. So that's why you're getting a nice cool down with that, and plus you're getting some pretty good winds with it too here. So, and it's behind that's where the storms are. Decent thunderstorms, decent summertime thunderstorms. Different than the springtime stuff. This is not the same. We don't have the wind shear to get the supercells this time of year. So it's like another picture. I'm sure it's either of a wicked cloud formation or a lightning strike. Yeah, just some clouds. What's up, Brandon Lee Bateman? Yeah, that's what I would like to do if I were at home right now. That's what I would do. Well, lots of different things cause a downburst, Chad. A lot of it has to do with the thunderstorm top will collapse. And as the top collapses, all the momentum, everything in the storm will collapse with it. And all that momentum goes down to the Earth's surface from above. And you call that a downburst. If a microburst would be when you got, and I guess a microburst can kind of be similar, but a lot of times a microburst, you associate it with some really hot, dry air underneath the thunderstorm. And as that rain falls out of it, it evaporates and causes the air around it to cool. And then now that eventually all that cool air gets heavy and it falls down to the Earth's surface and causes a strong wind gust here. So looks like we got bots that are in here posting hurricane outlooks or something here. I don't know, but this coming in, but we do got some bots or something doing all. So, I mean, you can just ignore all that. I'm not sure where that came from. So Jack County will eventually get some storms here, but it's just going to take it a while. There's your outflow boundary. Jacksboro, it's probably a good 45 minutes or so north of you, maybe an hour north of you there. And as that moves on through, some storms will gradually develop this evening down to the south there. Look at all these storms off to the southwest. There's a bunch. And this week it features a bunch of really unsettled weather, a lot of tropical moisture around, and there's going to be these scattering of showers and thunderstorms periodically throughout the week here. Of course, I think that the heaviest will be this evening here, but they'll be off and on throughout the week. There'll be some around. Look at the storms developing down, just down to near the northern shores of Lake Arrowhead. Henrietta, some storms trying to build in from the north there. Looks like we continue to see the storms over the eastern parts of Wichita Falls, but there's some storms that are developing and drifting north from Archer County. That's headed probably right over Lake Wichita and Lakeside City, and maybe the southern part of of Wichita Falls. Pretty good explosion of storms out there in Cadane Corner, southwestern western Wichita Falls. Storms now north of Electra, east of you and south of you. It's pretty heavy rain over Buffalo Creek Reservoir, and kind of some thunder shower activity near Iowa Park. Burt Burnett, you've seen a lot of heavy rain. Now, I do expect this whole area to gradually weaken and dissipate, and then you're going to see perhaps maybe a bit of an increase in some of this activity as the outflow boundary gets south down here this evening, and then this will begin to dissipate up here. Go outside after that rain hits and smell that air. Smell that rain. I am hungry, y'all. I'm ready to get me a bite to eat. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. Since this is not severe, I'm just going to jump off here. I do appreciate y'all being here with me here. So we're not sending the tracker out, Cameron. There's no reason to send the tracker out. I'll tell you what, why don't you come get in it and take it out? Fly on down from Lexington and come jump in the tracker. And you can go out there and chase these little hit and miss downpours. Yeah, that's the outflow boundary pushing through, Ruby. So, All right, guys, I'm jumping off. I'm going to get me a bite to eat. Since it's not severe, I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. I'll keep an eye on things, and I may try to do another update later on this evening. But since these are not severe, I'm not too concerned with them. There could be some, maybe a little bit of flooding with some of these, but I think in general will be okay. So, but anyway, I'll be back on as needed and probably another update a little bit later on.